Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new video and this one's a little different. It's a catch-up video slash check-in video slash where do we stand video. And it's all about what do I have completed right now and then what will you see in 2024. And I think that's appropriate given it's the last day of the year. So what's the plan for the new year? That's what you're going to see. So the first thing is my New York City album is done. I used a Life Crafted album, so everything in here is pretty much 3x8 or 4x8, and it is fully complete, although the videos are not all out yet. They are recorded, they're just not out yet. And to celebrate this being done, and just so I can kind of get it out in the world and move on to some other projects, I'm happy to say I'm doing something special here. For the first week in January, the entire week, every day I will post a New York City process video. So if you've been enjoying seeing me put together my stuff for New York, you're going to get a full week of that come January. All right, next up is my album that is from my Europe trip in October of 2022. And I went to Amsterdam, multiple places in Belgium, and then I also spent a day in Lille, France. So all of that will be in here. And if you've been following along, you know I have done some flip throughs already, and I'm kind of in the back third of the album now, which is great because this thing is huge. We were gone quite a while, and so it's become quite large, as you can see. Yeah, this one isn't a small one. You can also see I'm not completely done, obviously. I have like a special page protector that I need to design here, so that's just kind of hanging out because I have an enlarged photo. And I believe right now I'm still on my photos for Ghent in Belgium. I think I'm almost done with those if I remember right. So I'm getting there because then after that is the day in Lille, but I have a bunch of photos for that. Then we had one more day in Brussels, and then we basically went back to Amsterdam to fly back home. So we're getting there, making progress. I think maybe it will be done and all the videos will be out by the end of February. I'm not going to swear to it, but maybe. So if you've been following that one, still a little bit to go on that one. One of my other projects that goes into 2024 is my Train Travels album. I have not done the front of this yet. I probably won't until it's completely finished, but this is a 6x8 flip book, and basically that's just because I knew I probably wasn't going to have the number of photos that I would have normally where I would need a full 6x8 album with the rings. The point is these were all very short trips and to keep it pretty simple. So in here will be a day trip to Winona, Minnesota, another day trip to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and then just recently I did a quick weekend trip to both Milwaukee and Chicago. So basically one day in Milwaukee, one in Chicago, that's it, came home. So that will be in here as well. And I've only done a couple of layouts for this so far, so you haven't seen a whole lot of it yet, but there will be more. Another good sized project I'll be working on is my album for Cincinnati. And I have started that. I have a couple of videos out for it. If you've missed those, go back and watch them if you choose. But this is obviously a full 6x8 album. This is from Simple Stories. I love this color. And purple was kind of a theme off and on here because a lot of the hippo stuff is in purple. And that was the whole reason for the trip, was to go to the Cincy Zoo to see the hippos, Fritz and Fiona. And as you can see, long way to go here. I have done all of the dividers for the different days because I decided to do one for each day of the trip. So those are actually all done, but the rest of it, it's in a state of flux. I am happy that I'm going to work in some fun stuff in this album, including this bag. I think I'm going to cut this and maybe do like a 4x8 insert there. We'll see what happens, but I feel like this is too beautiful not to use. So that's another fun one that I have coming, and I took a lot of pictures there. So I'm guessing this album will end up being pretty stuffed. One of the other projects that I think, notice I say I think, is coming in 2024 is my husband's album to Oregon. And I was waiting for this to come, and I got it on a Black Friday sale, so now that's here. He wanted a 6x12 just like his Smoky Mountains album that I did. So exact same album, 6x12 from Studio Calico. So I have it, and I have this bin of stuff. I did finish International Falls. There's a flip through of that. So if you haven't seen it, it's out there. Go ahead and watch it. But everything that's left in here then will be for Oregon. However, I have no photos. They went in May of 2023 this year, and he has his photos, but he does not have any photos from his brother and sister who were on the trip with him. So I don't know when that's going to happen. They tend to kind of run very behind. So that's why I say maybe I'll get to it this year. I don't know. It totally depends on if they can all kind of get their stuff together and figure out what they're going to provide for my husband to use. Otherwise, maybe it'll end up being just his own photos, but we'll see how the year goes. Next up is one of the smallest albums that I will have for 2024. I mean, it's from 2023, but I'll do it in 2024, and that is for Springfield. I went around Labor Day of 2023 this year, and I took all these photos. Originally, I thought, oops, I've got a bent page there. Uh-oh. May have to get a new page protector there or flatten that out somehow. You can see, though, I just kind of shove things in where I think they might go. That's what happens sometimes. So I haven't really done anything here except drop stuff in there. This is going to be a big project. I originally thought this was going to be part of my Train Travels album because I thought, well, there's no way that I'll take enough pictures to make it its own album. But I was wrong, clearly. And I had this extra Ellie Edwards album just kind of sitting around. So I've decided I'm going to use it for this. And even if it starts kind of getting bulky as I start working on it, I'm not going to change out of this album. I refuse. Because this should be plenty. This should be a big enough size for this. And I don't want to go beyond that. But let's see how I do. Once it starts, I'll have to really, really try to keep this one flat. I actually do have another 3x8 album in the works, as you can see here. This is a very special one. I've had this album. This is also from Ellie Edwards. I have had this for a while. I've been hoarding it, waiting for the right thing to come where I could use it. And I think that is here. In August, I went to the LeakyCon convention in Chicago, and it's all about, it started out just being Harry Potter, but because of what has happened with the Harry Potter franchise and the fandom and the writer of the stories, now it has expanded. So it also included things like Lord of the Rings, Narnia. I mean, any kind of fantasy thing really that you could think of would be included there. So I went to that. Just my daughter and I went. The rest of my family came along, but they didn't go to the convention. So I think those I will include separately elsewhere, maybe those photos. This will be, I think, just the convention, because I took a lot of photos. I met some famous people there, and I want to showcase those in here. So I think that's going to be enough. But guess what? Totally blank. I haven't even printed the pictures or done anything with it. So, you know, that'll be a big project. We'll see how it goes. But I will say, I don't know that I'm going to video any of that, because what I might do is book myself a weekend somewhere and just work on it over one entire weekend and get it done. And that makes it a little bit harder to film. Now, if I chose to do that same challenge at home where I have a camera and set up readily available, would you want to see that? Me basically trying to put this together in one weekend, and I can film when I start each layout, and then you'll have some continuity kind of to see how long did it actually take to do it. You let me know if that sounds like something you want to see. If not, totally fine. Another project that I have coming up is my St. Louis album. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to use one of these albums. This is from Citrus Swiss. It's a Life Crafted. This is a very similar size, but it's from Freckled Fawn. It basically will only fit 3x8 or 4x8. I'm a little nervous about that, though, because I took so many photos. I'm thinking it might have to be 6x8. I'm not sure. I do have a couple of 6x8 albums available, but I really love this smaller size. So I'd like to keep it to one of these if possible. And I can't decide on color either, but I do have a bin of stuff that's here and ready to go. And you can see it says both Springfield and St. Louis there, but this thing here is all memorabilia stuff that I picked up from St. Louis. So it's going to be a chunky one, I'm pretty sure. And that's why part of me is scared. And I think, uh-oh, it may have to go 6x8. But, you know, we'll see what happens. All right, we've made it to the end. This is the last project that's on my docket right now for 2023, working on it in 2024, and that is my San Diego trip. And I have 2 albums at the ready, similar size again. This one's Life Crafted, this one is Freckled Fawn, but they will both hold 3x8, 4x8, which is what I want. I do not want to go to a 6x8 for this one. I kind of refuse, because when I was in San Diego, I made a point to take vertical photos in the hopes that it will fit in an album like this. These colors are also very similar. I know I want yellow of some type because it was California, so bright and sunny the entire time we were there. And I sort of want that theme. I want that feel when anyone picks up the album. So I'm not sure which of these it'll be, but it'll be one of the yellow tones here. And I've got a bunch of stuff already in the bin for this, so I'm very excited to get started on that. And I think it's maybe, I don't want to say that I'm most excited for, but one of the projects I'm most excited for, because it was just such a really good, relaxing trip. And I was with my daughter, and so it was just the 2 of us hanging out for several days. And it just was a really good trip to kind of close out the end of the year, because we went in November. And I really needed that. This year has been really, really hard. So I needed it badly. And so I really want to showcase like upbeat, bright colors, beautiful sunshine, trying to be positive, all of that. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can join me for that. All right, you've seen and heard a lot of my plans for the new year, so I hope you're excited to see some of these projects come together and that you'll stick with me as I go through this creative process. Thanks for watching.